Alright. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. So, it seems like today's golden hour is significantly more different to yesterday. Yesterday, the car park was like pretty much full. There were like 10 plus people. And then today, all of a sudden, it's like basically 4 or 5 cars. And there's like only like 2 or 3 people here. Yeah, like 3 people here. So, no Filipino gang here at all. So, yeah, just pretty normal. Well, pretty quiet, which is good, I guess. Surprised sometimes Sundays is diamond hour. I guess people just come on Saturdays, but then they never come on Sunday because they're probably like staying in or something. Well, I suppose Saturdays and Sundays are usually rest days for people. We don't do iron bodies on the weekends either, so I guess it makes sense to a degree. We purely just come here for the stairs. So what do we do yesterday? Well, yesterday was actually pretty good. I did as I said. We're actually gonna do like 1 hour of Overwatch. And I'm pretty sure the previous days I said that I should uninstall Overwatch because it's getting boring, right? But yesterday we did a 10 game competitive win streak, which was actually pretty insane. So yeah, we did that. So after our 10 game win streak came to an end, we did Arc Primal Fear for like 2 hours, and I had to end the stream. And that was about it. Yep. So that. So we did like 2 to 3 hours of Overwatch, 2 hours of Primal Fear, and yeah, that's kind of about it. So I guess today's plans are this Alpha Theory regime, dips, and yeah. Not watching it. I'm not sure what to do after that because apparently there's some sort of dinner tonight, so I don't know. And yeah, I'll see about it. I did have some plans for Primal Fear, so still creating that list on what to do next, and that's about it for now. Anything else happening interesting in the world? No, that's about it. Apparently GTA 6 is going to be out soon. I never really did much GTA, but I guess the reason people playing, lots of people downloaded it and bought the game is pretty simple, right? Because GTA 5 has been out for like I think a decade now, similar to like Forza Horizon 6, right? It's many years before Forza Horizon 6 came out. So yeah, I think when I was younger, I played a little bit of GTA 5, not too much. Most of my fond memories of GTA 5 was that one of my accounts on the PC, some hacker gave my account lots of free money. So yeah, that's about it. And of course, playing with the boys. Yeah, that's about it. Currently, the weather is right now cold but warm. I don't know what's going on today. Maybe it's just the gym's really warm. That's all. It's like outside is dry and it's kind of cold, but like it's not cold where it's like wet. You know what I mean? That kind of cold. So it's like warm, but not wet. Because usually the cold has like frost and wetness, but this time it's like dry. So it's like dry cold. I don't know, but that's what I can describe it as today's weather. It's cold, but it's dry. So yeah. So what am I gonna do today? I think. Well, I can't stream this morning, and Overwatch is very quiet in the morning too, so I can't really do any Overwatch VODs. And I think that's about it. I can't really play Ark offline either because people like seeing the progress they make. Because especially in Ark, right? It's so unpredictable that I could be farming resources and I still get blown up or something. But in Ark right now, we have like a Apex Lightning Wyvern egg, so I wonder what happens when we hatch it. Stuff like that. I guess we slept like an hour early last night, so I'm chilling. Just have nothing to say, that's all. Wait, there's actually nothing else to really talk about today, honestly. I think the only thing I could do today after our morning routine and like significantly less food due to the unknown dinner, uh, maybe off no voice commentary Forza Horizon, just 4K footage. I feel like people like that, and there's not really much to edit. Usually I would edit my Overwatch videos, but I can't just like a raw, not gonna lie. I don't even edit my Ark footage either, because people like a raw. Well, people that watch me like a raw. The only thing I cut that's short is the Earth logs. Earth logs are the only thing I edit heavy, but that's only because I'm only here to see whatever I say, right? You know what I mean? It's just I think for like the past month, for a couple months now, there's just been nothing really interesting to talk about, you know? And since we're so experienced in most games now, there's nothing really to like talk about. Minecraft we were experienced in, so we know what to do. Ark we're plenty experienced now, so nothing's really too surprising. And most new games have been paused or never finished. Like for example, Wolfenstein, never really finished it. Solarpunk, eh, we could finish it, but I would prefer Primal Fear over it. Ah, yeah, we need a story time today as well, so I don't even need to talk much. Alright, yeah, I need a story time today. Uh-huh, yeah, I do. Okay. By the way, the resting from Friday has basically disappeared since yesterday. I'll tell you the strategy works. When you have some kind of weird joint thingy or pop, or like a little twitch, just abandon everything else for the rest of the day and let it rest for the whole night. And it was fine yesterday. But I suspected if I continued on Friday and included Alpha Theory Sheen with it, probably would have pulled it more. So yeah, it is what it is. I think that didn't even make sense what I just said. Yeah, and for the story videos, right? Currently, we're like on the topic of cold cases. I already talked about that yesterday. I'll probably end up repeating myself in the next segment. I'll just save it. I'll save it. Oh yeah, I guess in Primal Fear, our series, we're playing it pretty smart recently. Except for that one moment yesterday, because yesterday was like our first proper death because we tried to steal an egg. We stole a wyvern egg, but then the poison wyvern came out of nowhere and distracted my Rudolph, and then we died. But on the positive side, no one actually died properly. We had our kit ready to die anyways, so I wasn't really afraid of dying. And I used like our lowest level Rudolph, and he still survived, so in the end it was fine. And today's editing should be very, very easy as well. There's something I notice about Deep Blue sometimes. When I finish recording, when I press stop, it still cuts like the last 5 seconds or something. It's really weird. So when I end the outro, I have to at least wait like 5 to 10 seconds before pressing end record. Because if I say something like, see you guys, Press the button, it cuts off to see you guys. And a few more seconds. Clean. Another clean 300 done. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it, right? See you guys in the next segment.
Sorry, there you go. Yep, back. It's another day, another story day, right? Yep. I don't even know what I said this morning. We're gonna continue the, true Mr. Night, true scary travel horror stories and stuff. Background's a bit different, as you can tell. I've kind of changed the setup again. I rotated the desk slightly, so now everything's just close, right? So you can whatever. All right, let us begin. Lock in.
I hate reliving this story.
Also, I did just get I just went outside to get like some sun, but I look so white right now. I don't know why.
But I feel like it's so crazy that I need to share it.
Alright,
Last
share it.
year, I got a week and a half off from work, so I decided to travel back home to see my parents. I work in South Carolina, but my family still lives in Massachusetts. It's not right around the corner, but it's an easy drive nonetheless. My parents are older and retired. They don't get to leave the house much because my dad hurt his back when he was still working. My genius idea was that I was going to drive throughout the night and surprise my parents in the morning. I only told my brother I was coming home, just so somebody knew. Usually I hate driving at night, but I found that this specific drive is way easier overnight. There just isn't that much traffic, so I can throw something on to listen to when I'm chilling. My least favorite part of the drive is when I have to go through Pennsylvania. No disrespect to my people in Pennsylvania, but that state just feels like it never ends. It's all mountains and wine.
Yeah, man. Like even when we go to Operation Twizzler, right? Just driving is, man. It's kind of, it gets a toll. Sometimes when you do like long trips, you just want to have like an automatic Tesla or something, right? Like at the first 2 hours of driving, it's like, yeah, this is sick, hell yeah. And the last 2 hours, like, bro, just, man, can I just have like a clanker drive me there? You know what I mean? It's only the fun parts are only the hills. But like, no, what I mean is, okay, like let's say we go to Operation Twizzler, right? Driving on the hill roads alone, that's sick. Speeding, taking the corners, chilling, that's a vibe. But on the way back to HQ, like going back home, there's just traffic. There's like there's like 5 camper vans in front of you. And then if you overtake them, there's like 3 trucks in front of you. It's like, bro, man. It's just like, bro, can I just have a clanker drive me? Then I could just not care. It's like, first few hours, you're alone on the road, you're chilling, driving fast. And then like in the afternoon, it's just like a bunch of camper vans. And no matter how many overtakes you do, you only speed it for like 10 minutes before you're behind like a brand new truck or something huge. And then like near the last 30 minutes, it's just like, there's no point of overtaking at that point. It's just like, if I overtake this, there's something there. There's just no point. Can I just have a clanker drive me? You know what I mean? That's not even on topic, but whatever.
Roads. Not to mention, I feel like every time I drive through PA, it's so foggy that I feel like I'm driving through an endless wall of white. This trip was no different. I was white-knuckling my way through until I came across a detour sign. Apparently there was an accident, so I was being redirected off the highway. I continued driving for a while, and I felt like I was lost. It was just a dark, foggy road. There was no sign of life anywhere.
Google Maps, right? Also, what do you mean by detour? Like, they need more context on what the detour looks like, right? Like, is it literally a physical barrier or something? You know what I mean? Also, wouldn't there be other trucks? Oh, I guess if you're, I don't know. But I would just use Google Maps, right?
Of course, my phone didn't have service either, so I couldn't even use that to figure out where I was or where I was going.
No service? Then you would look ahead at where you're at, no? I don't know. A detour. No service. If there's no service and you took a detour, I'd honestly just drive backwards, right? And just go back to where you came from. Go back to the highway and just chill out at the accident spot. Because if there's an accident and look, if there's a detour and an accident, that place has service because, you know, police, if it's an accident or like roadworks, they need signal, you know? So no matter what the detour is, if you go back towards the detour, there's gonna be signal there because, you know what I mean? Right? That makes logical sense there, right? You know? If there's a detour there, then there's signal there. So let's just go back to the detour then.
It had been hours since I left South Carolina, and I was exhausted. I was looking for a gas station or even a rest stop. I just needed to shut my eyes for a second, but I didn't feel comfortable doing it on the side of this desolate road. Something about driving in the fog and focusing extra hard makes me super tired. I started to doze off purely because of exhaustion. I should have pulled over as soon as I started doing the head drop, but I thought I could hold on a little while longer. Well, I couldn't. I dozed off for a second too long, and I lost control of the car. I jerked the wheel, but it was too late. I hit the guardrail, and I just kept going. My car
Guardrail? You should have signaled then, no?
rolled into a ditch, and thankfully rolled back to an upright position. I was shaking. That was the most terrifying moment of my entire life. If you've ever been upside down in a car, you'll know what I'm talking about. I sat there for a few minutes trying to catch my breath. I grabbed my phone to see if I had service yet, but it wouldn't matter if I did. My screen was destroyed in the crash. While I was sitting in the car, I didn't know how bad the damage was on the outside. I tried to drive the car out of the ditch, but it was completely stuck. There was no moving it. Because of the angle of the car, I could barely get my door open. When I got out of the car, I crawled out of the ditch. I stood there in amazement, looking at the damage to the car. I wanted to crawl under a rock. I had no idea what I was going to do. A few minutes later, I was sitting next to the car, basically grieving on the inside. While I was sitting there, I saw two bright headlights coming through the fog. I thought about flagging them down, but ultimately, I decided to just stay quiet. The truck drove by slowly. It was 20 feet or so in front of me, and it started to reverse back toward me. When they were right next to me, they rolled down the window. It was an older couple inside the truck. The woman was in the passenger seat, and she made a comment about how I looked like I needed some help. I didn't answer right away. They seemed very nice, but this was the first car I'd seen on this road, and it was also the middle of the night in nowhere, Pennsylvania. Nice or not, I was a little uneasy about this. I also don't want to be that guy, but they didn't physically look like the most inviting people. She asked me again if I needed help, and I just nodded. The large man got out of the vehicle and grabbed a chain from the bed of the truck. While he was doing that, the woman got out of the truck and kept inching closer to me. She smelled horrible. The way she was inching toward me was making me move closer to the truck. It was like she was bullying me to move closer. She was talking about the land, and then she started on a government rant. I just kept nodding and agreeing with her. I just wanted to see these people pull my car out of the ditch.
No, you called the police. What? No, you called the police. What? What do you mean by chaining your... It depends on how bad the car's damaged, I guess. Wait, it depends on how bad... I mean...
She was literally bumping into me while she was ranting. Eventually, I was standing right outside the back of their truck. She had basically forced me back there. She stopped ranting and then smiled. She told me that she wanted to show me something really cool in the bed of the truck. I told her that it was okay, and I just wanted to watch him pull my car out and make sure he didn't need any help. Every time I tried to step away, she would cut me off. She just kept telling me that I really needed to look in the back of the truck. Then I noticed the man with the chain coming from the other side of the truck. Before I knew it, both of them were moving closer in on me. I turned around and noticed a tarp in the back of the truck. Something was clearly underneath it, but I didn't want to find out what it was. When I had my back turned, looking at the tarp, the woman yelled the name Paul. A third person emerged from underneath the tarp holding a knife. He was a younger man, and he attempted to grab me with his other hand. I still don't know how, but I was able to dodge him by basically falling back to the ground. While I was on the ground, the woman started to yell frantically, screaming at the other two men. I got up and I started to run as fast as I could. I ran into the woods instead of staying on the road. I didn't want to take the chance of these insane locals chasing me down with a rifle or something like that. The younger guy chased me into the woods, but thankfully I was able to outrun him. I hid in the forest for a while. Since I didn't have a phone, I have no idea how long I was actually hiding. It felt like hours, but I'm sure it wasn't that long. I thought I heard footsteps the entire time I was hiding. It was probably just the normal sounds of the forest at night, but I didn't want to risk it. Just when I was getting ready to head back to the road, I heard the voice of the old woman. She kept calling for me, referring to me as Sonny Boy. She wasn't right next to me, but she was close enough that I could hear her. Close enough that if I moved, she would hear it. She was shouting in the woods that everything was okay and that I could come out. She said that they got my car out of the ditch and that they didn't want to scare me. I may be a fool, but I didn't fall for this. I held my breath and hoped that she would walk in the other direction. A while longer had passed, and I hadn't heard anything for a while.
This is where you choose two options: hide or be lunatic, be crazier. Come find me. Come here, Granny. Come on now. I don't know. It's either you are crazy or you stay hidden, right? But if you act crazy and start laughing in the woods, be like, come here, find me, yes, chase me, do it. I love this game. Chase me, please. Or just like, I don't know, just say some unhinged stuff. They'll be like, oh, never mind, this guy's probably crazy. Let's get out the woods. You know, whoever crazier wins. But yeah, this scenario is definitely just like a it is what it is moment as well. Yeah. Is what it is. Again, it's either stay hidden or like fight them back. I don't know.
I snuck out of the woods and my car was still in the ditch. Clearly she was lying.
Why would you go back towards your car? Just wait until it's sunrise. GG, he's gonna get camped.
All of my doors were open and my bag was torn apart. I tried to take an inventory of all my stuff, but most of it was gone. It also looked like they used the knife to cut my seats up. Their truck was gone, but I didn't want to stay with my car. I had a feeling they would be back if I stayed. I walked for a long time until I eventually made it to a 24-hour gas station. I went inside and tried explaining to the cashier what happened. I was a mess. The cashier wouldn't let me use the phone, but he did call the police. When they showed up, they called my parents. It took a few hours, but my brother finally showed up to pick me up. Unfortunately, the police were almost no help. I was happy to be driving with my brother in the middle of the day. I can't even imagine what the intentions of those backwoods freaks were. I don't think they just wanted to rob me. I felt like whatever they wanted, it was worse. My parents were surprised when I got home, but obviously not for the right reasons. That was the last time I've driven anywhere far at night alone, and it will most likely be the last time I ever do that drive again.
Yeah, that story's kind of no signal. Yeah. It again, it really depends on like the context of the what is it called? The detour. It really depends on the context, right? Like what detour? You know what I mean? Like, is it like it depends on the context of what the detour looked like, right? And like how many cars are on the highway. You know, it just really just depends on what the detour is, right? Because it just depends on what the detour look like, right? Because in New Zealand, they don't really like cut. I don't know, it just depends on the type of detour, right? Especially on a highway. If it's a highway, there's usually emergency lights, right? Or like flashing orange lights and stuff, right? It just depends on the detour, right? Like it just really depends on the context of the detour. Like if there's a detour in New Zealand, there'll be traffic and like lights everywhere and like cars waiting, right? You know what I mean? It just depends on how the detour looked. But it just depends, right? Alright, next story. That really is just it is what it is kind of story. It's just pretty hard to, you know.
When people think about traveling, oftentimes they think about traveling somewhere with a beach. That's because most people need a break from their job or school to get away, and what better place to unwind than on a nice, relaxing beach? This story, unfortunately, was not a relaxing getaway. A couple of years ago, my girlfriend Allie and I took a trip down south to enjoy some much-needed vacation time. We both work as nurses, and any nurse will tell you, sometimes you need a break. We live in New Hampshire, which is beautiful, but we wanted some of that southern sun. We booked a trip to Key West, Florida. Allie hates to fly, so we made the over 24-hour drive to Florida. Because we had so much to fly, so we made the over 24-hour drive to
24-hour drive? You might as well just fly. What? What? 24 hours? Oh my goodness. How are you even gonna drive that long? I mean, no, we've driven like 8 hours maximum. 8 or 9 hours in one day. That's kind of the maximum I've driven. I mean, I literally played League for like 8 hours straight. So was Overwatch. Maybe, I think. Stream for 8 hours. 8 hours played. Subnautica, like probably 9 hours. Dude, 24-hour drive. That's insane. Then you need like... You'll need a lot of planning. Because you need like some kind of stop. Unless you and your girlfriend are strategic enough to just take turns sleeping. Should have just taken I don't know. Just plane or something.
Florida. Because we had so much time saved up for vacation, we took 2 weeks off. So the drive wasn't nearly as bad because we made several stops on the way.
Okay, several stops.
We got to Florida a few days later, and we were blown away by how amazing our resort was. We were right by the ocean. The trip was everything we needed. Most of the trip served its purpose until one terrifying night. Our last night in Key West showed me that it doesn't matter where you are, things can happen out of your control.
Real, that's true.
Allie and I were lying on the beach watching the moon reflect off the water. It was one of those nights where the light from the moon reflecting off the water was literally bright enough that it didn't even look like it was nighttime. We had a large beach towel on the sand, and Allie was lying in my arms. We didn't know this at the time, but I actually had her engagement ring in my pocket. This was going to be our big night. I started to be romantic and sweet, feeding her mushy lines. At first, she was loving it. Then I noticed she got quiet. It was like she wasn't responding at all. For a second, I thought she might have fallen asleep. I asked if she was still alive, and she apologized for getting quiet. She said she got distracted by two people who were standing kind of close to us. She said it looked like they were staring at us. I sat up a bit and looked for the two she was talking about. Just as I sat up, we saw the two people walk up to us. It was an objectively beautiful girl, but she looked off for some reason. She had wild curly hair, and from what I could see of her eyes, they looked very dark. She had just a beach cover-up over her bathing suit, and she was with a man. I assume it was her boyfriend because she was holding his hand in a loving way, almost like she was leaning on his arm. He had a huge beard with long brown hair that was pulled back in a bun. He was wearing a red flannel that was unbuttoned with no shirt underneath, and just plain bathing suit shorts. Even at night, it was very warm for a flannel. Once they got over to us, they just stood there. They were standing uncomfortably close. Because we were basically lying down, they were standing over us, both of them just looking at us, smiling for no reason that I could think of. Finally, Allie said, "Excuse me, can we help you with something?" The woman, still smiling, said in a slow, soft voice, "You two are quite beautiful, you know." I was completely speechless and at a loss for words. My girlfriend just said, "Thanks, you can leave us alone now." Allie's one to speak her mind. Maybe it's the nurse mentality in her, but she doesn't take any crap. The woman looked at me, and then at Allie, and then said in a haunting voice, "No thank you." All while this was going on, she still continued to smile. Her boyfriend just stood there stiff and not moving, but still smiling. After a moment, another couple came over. It was late in the night, so there weren't very many people around. I thought they may have been coming over to help us. I'm sure our body language wasn't exactly welcoming. I couldn't have been more wrong. The couple came over, and again were standing right over us. Just like the other two people, both of them were smiling. This woman also had a cover-up on, but was sporting some pigtails that were not even close to symmetrical. Her boyfriend had really curly, shaggy-looking hair. The woman from before looked up at them and said, "Look, a new couple." I didn't know if I was being pranked.
Bro, why are you not standing up yet? You should be standing up and just start walking away. You know what I mean? I couldn't even imagine lying down at nighttime on a public beach.
By the locals or if this was real life. I know they weren't doing anything particularly threatening at this point, but my alarm bells were screaming. Nobody stands this close to complete strangers unless they're up to something. The unsettling smiles and stoic posture just didn't have a good vibe. I was pretty unsettled, and these four people just kept inching closer and closer to Allie and I. They had gotten so close that the one girl's foot was touching my leg. I could tell
Bruh, stand up by then.
Allie had hit her breaking point. I was trying to think of something to do. I finally stood and stepped up to one of the guys and said, "Take one more step." I thought maybe if I stepped up to them, they would back off. I'm a bigger guy, but I'm not very intimidating. Allie always called me a lovable teddy bear, not exactly someone who inspires fear. All four of these beach lunatics laughed. I was angry and annoyed, but I almost felt comforted by the laugh. I was thinking maybe the laugh was confirmation of this being a joke. Once again, I was wrong. While the others continued to laugh, one of the guys lunged at me. I had no time at all to defend myself. Both men started to beat me up and I couldn't do anything. I was lying in the sand, just hoping the ring didn't fall out of my pocket. While this was happening, I could hear Allie screaming, and both girls just sat there and laughed. She tried to intervene, but the second girl pushed her down. The two guys then picked me up and slammed me down in the sand next to Allie, and with the blink of an eye, all their smiles turned into faces of anger. One of the men started to fumble his way through an inside pocket of the red flannel. Even though I didn't see it, I knew he was looking for a pocket knife or some other kind of weapon. Somehow, I had the mindset to pull off an unthinkable move. I don't know what came over me in the moment, maybe fight or flight, but I kicked the ankle of one of the girls because she was still so close to me. It was a hard kick, so she stumbled. Her stumbling in the sand distracted all of them for a moment. In this split second, I grabbed Allie's hand.
What kind of beach you on? Where you at? Where you at? The context on the beach is so confusing. Are you at like a resort beach or like where you at? You know what I mean? Where you at? How close are you to the buildings? And you know, is there anyone else watching? Is there any other beach people there? You know what I mean? Like the context sounds like it's like a completely empty beach with just those four people, right? Because if it was a completely empty beach, you would have stood up by the time they started walking closer, right? Or like you would just start back. What's the context of this beach? You know what I mean? Like, where you at? Wait, what's going on?
And we ran as fast as we could to our resort. I could feel my face bleeding and my ribs were killing me. I looked back one time as we were running, and we could see the two couples standing there, not chasing us. We got back to the resort, locked the doors, and turned the lights off. It was horrible.
And not call the police again?
I still don't know why, but we didn't call the police. Obviously, in hindsight, we should have contacted the authorities right away, but at that moment, we didn't want to bring any attention at all to our location. The next day, we checked out early from the hotel so we could leave for home. The entire time we loaded up the car and checked out, we kept looking over our shoulder. Every person out of the corner of our eye we assumed was the beach couples. We didn't want to risk running into these mysterious strangers again. As we were leaving the hotel and walking to our car, we saw the two girls on the corner of the street. They didn't see us. We didn't know what to do. We got into the car and drove off. As we were pulling out of the parking lot, we had to pass the corner where they were standing. As we drove by them, both girls noticed us. They smiled and waved like we were old friends. Once we hit the road, Ali called the resort and informed them what happened. They apologized and said they would look into the matter. I'm not sure if anything was actually ever done. I realize that this isn't your typical scary ghost story or whatever, but it was so much worse.
It depends on the context, right? But like, just get your phone, photo, boom. That's what the ID looks like. Security cameras. It depends on the context of the beach, though, obviously. Okay, so these stories so far are just kind of... Last story was completely their fault. Like, you should have had situation awareness, right? Like, how can you let them walk so close to you? One, like, look at the surroundings, right? It depends on the environment and stuff, but like, they're acting like it's like a solo... the context of the beach really matters because, you know, like how many people were there, witnesses, you know. When I think of beaches, I think of like Bondi Beach, right? Crap ton of people, right? Or like if I'm going fishing at nighttime, you know, it's like, it just depends, right? Depends on how close the resort is, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, context. The detour one, definitely context needed, right? The detour one, context needed, but yeah, again, for the detour one, the one with the detour, honestly, it just depends on like what the context of the detour is, right? Like if it was okay, if it was just this sign that said detour, I would just continue going down the highway until I see the stoppage, right? And then go on my phone and like have a look, right? You know what I mean? Because sometimes people would fake detours and hope that you just go for it, right? You know what I mean? It just depends. You know. It just depends on the context, but the context, if it's a highway and there's a detour, maybe just have a look first, see what's up. Let's read the comments. First guy has a survival instinct of a walnut. What was the first guy again? Yeah, the one with like a guy in the house. I don't know how he got away with that. Actually, the first story, which was last Earthlog, it is possible when you rent houses from just complete nobodies. They could have a spare key and just enter in. Who the F sleeps in a hotel with the patio door wide open and unlocked? That just depends. That was that context was as a luxury resort, I guess, to a degree. Nearly getting murdered by only people miles off a desolate road. Are you after you meant? Someone is stalking and stealing my wife's clothes. Okay, I leave her at the home alone. Yeah, that was... Yeah. True, this comment's so real. Okay, so the fourth one was complete rage bait. Not me screaming at my phone for these people to get up. Then again, I'm the type of person who would have got up and left the moment I saw someone staring at me in the dark. Real. That's so true right there. Bro, if I had if you had situational awareness and like just look around, be like, yeah, let's just go back inside, bro. Why are we out here in the dark? How many people are here? There doesn't even have to be a couple. It could have just been like a single person, but oh, hold on now. And also, your first one should have just called the police and stuff. Hiding silently in the woods while hearing a woman say "Sonny boy" is one of the most scariest moments in this video. For that scenario, you either hide and be scared or be crazy as well and just start saying the most craziest stuff. Alright, Legitimate, I appreciate it, right? That was it was pretty mid stories. Don't really think there's many listens into it, to be fair. When did Oliver Tree die? He died? When did I did not know he died? How did he die? He made that really like cringe song. He died? Helicopter crash in June 14th. I did not even know that. RIP, I guess. Don't know who that guy is. Don't know who that is. I don't even know who that is. They're all just black people. Shocking. All the black ones have been shot. Huh. Or overdose on drugs. Is what it is. The biggest meals on my 600-pound life. I'm gonna have a look at it real quick, just to have a little browse. I should be doing Lost. I should be doing Primal Fear.
Meals shows the reality of the situation. The most shocking.
Ah, it's like me reacting to a guy on a guy on a guy on a guy on a guy. A guy on a guy on a guy. And a guy 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 and a guy. And a guy and a guy and a guy and a guy. Lose my mind.
Coming out of the basement is probably the hardest thing I do all day, so I usually only go up once. But once I make it up to the house, I'm always starving and anxious to eat.
What can I do for you?
I got a pretty big order, so
Okay, not a problem.
the first one, I'm gonna get the Lumberjack Slam Pack. One of those ultimate. My routine is to order breakfast, and then get cleaned up while I wait for it to be delivered. Getting in the shower is probably the second hardest thing I put myself through in the day because I'm too big for the bathroom. I have to try to squeeze myself into. And then it's hard. And that's before I've even tried to wash the areas I need. Like bodies and some wait for that. It helps me to escape the depression that I've.
All right, have a good day, man.
You too. They're about to get better. I haven't eaten in a while because I get that first flood of happiness that comes with it, and it feels incredible. Eating just makes everything better. Escape in my life.
How do you get the money to do that? What's his job? That's what I want to ask. Where'd they get the money from? Is there anything? Yeah, what like what's his job at? Because he looking like he's got a good house and stuff. I mean, as much as you can say 600-pound people are like, that it still takes dedication to eat that food. You know what I mean? Like, damn. All right, Legend, I appreciate it, all right? See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
I'll be rotating this that way. I'll be moving that way.